Hi there, and welcome to. Oh, there's no one at this time. Zero viewers. Hmm. Now I see you guys. Okay. So welcome to our our third broadcast as part of Serpzilla SEO Challenge 2022. Today we're going to discuss why do you need a mobile-friendly website, and I would like to remind you that you can still join the challenge. You will see the links in the chat. And today we have two experts, Craig Campbell and Sandeep Male, who is our regular guest over the course of these series of broadcasts specifically. So let's welcome them. Let's start with Craig Campbell. Craig,
Hey Alex, thank you for having me.
so take the stage and introduce yourself to our newest viewers, and let's begin.
Cool. So first off, apologies for the very broad Scottish accent, guys. I will try my best to speak as slowly as I possibly can. But my name is Craig Campbell. I have been in the SEO industry for 20 years. I've been everything from freelancer working in the bedroom, agency, I built up my own digital marketing agency, and now I do a lot more affiliate marketing and buying and selling websites. That is primarily where I'm focused today. Now, on top of that, I do speak at a lot of different conferences all over the world, trying to give back to the SEO community and try and answer things as honestly and as best I possibly can based on the experiences that I've had over the years. So that is a little bit about me. I'm pretty sure you can Google my name, Craig Campbell SEO. You can find me in social media. You can find me on YouTube. You can ask questions, do whatever you like. I'm very approachable and always happy to help, guys. I could talk all day, by the way. I don't know if you want more, but I don't want to take up the whole floor space. And obviously give other people the opportunity to introduce themselves as well.
There's a little misunderstanding. You can begin now.
Oh, the presentation.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Introduction, then the presentation. So,
yeah.
pick it up.
So here we go, guys. I will start sharing my screen talking about why you might want to consider the benefits of having a mobile friendly website. So this is obviously a blog post from someone else, but they talk a lot of sense. So there's 7 main benefits of having a mobile friendly website. First one being enhanced user experience. It's got to be simple, it's got to be easy for the user. Bear in mind, a lot of people are using their iPhones, iPads, a varying different devices. And statistically, if we go over to this particular screenshot, what percentage of the internet traffic is mobile? Now, you might think that everyone sits in a desktop all day, every day. That is so far from the truth. It's unbelievable. Now, even back in 2014, 2013, the percentage of mobile traffic continued to grow year on year. Even now in 2022, 59.4% of people are using mobile devices rather than desktops. So that's nearly 60%. 60% of your users are using a mobile device. Now, we as users all use the internet as well. Now, we look at something like Orange, their in messaging app. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, this is how this looks on an app, on a phone. It looks garbage. Now, what would I personally do if I landed on a website like this? I'm instantly leaving. Now, obviously, that is a screenshot of a Spanish version of it. You have other examples of a confusing form that's all over the place. It's not simplistic. It's just garbage again. There's lots of different examples of a bad user experience using a mobile device. Now, even websites like booking.com are not always easy to use on a mobile device. They could be doing with work. So you have the ability to make sure that your website works perfectly on mobile websites. And that is going to help the user be able to simply click a button, make a purchase, job done. Now, that's just one benefit of having a mobile friendly website. What are the other benefits? Now, as an SEO, we all know that user engagement signals are really important. Now, if your page gets a lot of traffic and people are spending time on it, that is going to increase your dwell time, your click through rate, all of that kind of good stuff. So, does that stuff impact SEO and your rankings? 100% it does. We all do click through rate manipulation. We're all using social media to drive people to our website. Why the hell would we want to send people to something that wasn't mobile friendly? It just defeats the purpose of marketing in general. So bear in mind that those increased engagement signals, click through rate, and everything else massively helps your SEO. On top of that, we're all aware of core web vitals and all the kind of different stuff, site speed, and all that kind of stuff that's out there. Now, our job as SEOs is to make sure that our websites have really good site speed. And making sure that your website is mobile friendly and simplistic is also going to help with that. Now, this is my own personal website. Yes, you could argue that it's not a grade A. Now, you can use tools like GT Metrics to check out what is going on with your website. And we can go down here and we can see what is causing the problem with the website, whether it's the server response time, whether it's network payloads, image sizes, all of that kind of stuff. That is essentially what this means. I have got an image here that is 4.15 megabytes. It's far too big, far too big. Now, that's something that should be compressed and dealt with in my website because Core Web Vitals, as Google has said on many occasions, is really important. Now, a mobile-friendly website will load much faster than a normal website. And you want to make sure that your users are not... So this impacts the increased dwell time. It also impacts the user experience. If you go onto a website and it takes 3 seconds to load, you leave and go to the next person, which is one of your competition. So make sure that your site speed is optimal, and that also increases the time spent on website, and it also increases that user experience. So make sure that you do, work on that. It's really important. Now, as I say, enhanced SEO benefits from the signals that you're given for having a fast loading website, user experience, click through rate, and all that kind of stuff is really important. But what else are the other benefits? Exceptional brand visibility. Now, you're going to look in this day and age, we're in 2022. Now, back in 2013, 2014, 2015, you could argue that maybe you hadn't got round to it. We are a lot further on. Most websites, most templates are made to either be responsive or mobile friendly. you as a personal brand or a company brand or whatever you may be are actually going to look stupid online. It's going to potentially damage your brand if you have something that's dysfunctional. So make sure that when you are doing all of this, you're also increasing your brand visibility, your brand trust, and everything else. That's just a small part of it. But call to actions on a mobile friendly website is very simple and very easy. Now, again, if I go to my own website, which I'll bring up just now, that's how it looks in a desktop. Obviously, up here, the navigation changes and it's just a kind of drop down like that. If you're on a mobile device, it's clean, it's easy to get to whatever I want you to get to. It also reduces that stupid big image. That is the image that's the 4 megabyte image that's on my website. So that disappears on a mobile friendly website because I don't need it to be there. I need it to be fast. I need it to be quick. So, these are all things that I want to have on my website. Now, in terms of call to actions on my own personal website, it's reading more information. I can have a very clear and distinct button, a call to action, so that if someone wants to read about this particular program or whatever it might be, they simply click read more, and they get on to the blog post in question, which has its table of contents. It's all very clean, very concise, and you can read it on a mobile device. Now, if I wasn't to take into consideration all of that stuff, I'm going to look like an idiot. So it is really important to make sure that your call to actions are more visible. Just very easy, very simplistic information on a website, because you have to remember that a lot of customers are, they're too busy. They're thinking about 10 other things. They've got kids running about. It has to be simple and easy. Now, the 7th step here is that mobile users always make purchases. Now, as I say, the stats are there. If 59.4% of people are using mobile devices, that's just across the board, across a high number of websites. Some websites will be even higher than that. Then you have to believe that your call to actions and everything else are in place, because people are buying or engaging with your services, products, or whatever it may be. So it is vital, because these figures are only going to increase. There is going to become a period where that's going to be 70 or 80%, and only people like us SEOs are going to be the ones that are using laptops and desktop devices. So everyone I know, my kid, my wife, everyone else uses an iPad or a phone. They don't even have a laptop. So that is something you have to consider in terms of having a mobile website, because people are purchasing. The high volume of people are on that website on a mobile device. And as I say, if you have too much information and it's non-structured and it's a real bad experience on there, then you're not going to convert the traffic that you're sending to your website. Now, this particular website is just some bad user experience examples, like the Orange website and so on and so forth. Now, that is something that we see across the board. As I say, even on websites like booking.com, they're never perfect. Now, there will be reasons where you can't get it 100%, but I think going back here, you want to try and make sure that you can tick as many of those boxes as you can, and bear in mind the main thing is the speed and the user experience, because otherwise you're going to be wasting your time. And as I say, Core Web Vitals is very much something that Google have put out there over the last couple of years. And we all know that that's a strong signal That's what Google are asking for. We need to give Google what they want. And, when you simplify SEO in general, we all know that Google just wants to serve a competent page that's fast loading, that serves the intent of what that user is actually looking for. So it really is as simple as that. And I don't know why people overcomplicate it. However, that is some of the benefits of having a mobile friendly website. You could go deep into the technical side of it and talk about all of the other stuff, but you would be wrong to think that who needs mobile visitors anyway? That was another blog post, and someone was like, "Who needs mobile visitors anyway?" As I say, statistically, 59.4%, according to Oberlo, is the kind of standard figure that is being thrown around. So that is pretty much my presentation and the basics of the importance of having a mobile friendly website. But happy to answer any questions you guys have got on that. So please do put your questions in the chat.
Craig, thank you. That was great. I have a question about, maybe I missed the point. You showed a chart with mobile website traffic.
Yeah.
Does app, like, most purchases are done via mobile, but it's not necessarily, it's, from my experience, it's mostly applications. So apps. So does app traffic equate to website traffic?
If you're arguably, yes, if we use Amazon as an example, it's an app that they have that we log into as a user. And yes, that an app is what something like Amazon would have, but a mobile friendly website is what maybe a builder or a plumber or a much smaller business would have. They are, Amazon are a much bigger company. They have the budget, they've got everything else, but they both equate to mobile traffic as far as I'm concerned. It is easier for Amazon to send its users to an app than constantly try and fix this big mobile friendly website. They've got more control over an app. And as I say, they can simplify a lot of the things on the Amazon app. So they do equate to the same thing, though.
Thanks. And there's a question from Aman Solanki. Is it important to use mobile version of the website because some of the businesses designed for only desktop devices?
So,
what do you think?
Aman, anyone who only designs their business for a desktop device is doing themselves a misservice. Like Oberlo, the stats that I showed, 59% of users are using a mobile phone. Now, whether you are a small-time plumber who goes away and gets a cheap website done for $100, that might not be mobile friendly. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing because every small business is working on a budget, but I would be trying to convince that business owner that potentially 50 or 60% of his users are going to be using their phone. If you want a plumber, if you want a locksmith, if you want a guy to fix your roof, the first thing you do is go on your mobile phone and search for that. That is what people are doing, and we have to follow what normal human beings are doing. So no matter where you are in the world, everyone's using iPads, iPhones, Androids, whatever your mobile tool of choice is. So I would be asking questions of a web designer who only goes after desktop. Now, the web designer will say to me, Craig, that guy's only paying $100. What the hell do you expect? So if you're going to cheap out and you're at the start of your business journey, then I would be trying to advise that those people spend an extra $100 or whatever it might be to get that website mobile friendly 100%.
Yeah, it makes sense. And can you just imagine a situation where you need a desktop only version?
No. I mean, if you look at WordPress, which is the platform that most people use out there, every template made in the last 5 years, 6 years has been mobile friendly. No one's making a desktop only template. So for me, there really isn't an excuse. Even if you are getting a cheap website, that template should be responsive, at least responsive. So yeah, I don't think there's an excuse, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. So, Greg, thank you. That was
No
great.
problem.
And we're moving on to Sandeep.
Is there?
Sandeep?
Yeah, I think there was an issue.
Oh, here you are.
Yeah,
Nice to see you.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, very
you
good
ready?
presentation by Craig. Very brief and precise. And I hope my presentation will not be overlapping.
Yeah, and don't forget to introduce yourself to our viewers who might be new
Sure, sure, sure.
to our party.
So
And let's go.
yeah, sure. I'll just share my slides. Yeah, here we go. So, just a bit info about me. I'm an entrepreneur and a professional blogger from Bangalore, India. I launched my own marketing agency back in 2015, now almost seven, in fact, more than 7 years back. And I launched my blog, 99 Signals, in 2016. And the whole idea was to document whatever strategies, tools, and tactics I was using to grow my small agency. Now, fast forward to today, my blog is read by over 500,000 people and generates over $10,000 in side income for me each month. I've been featured in BuzzSumo's list of top 100 content marketers and Foundation Marketing's list of top 100 marketers. So, if you wish to learn more about me, you can visit my blog 99signals.com. You'll find more actionable SEO tips there. You'll find a lot of resources on content marketing, entrepreneurship, and social media marketing. So, do visit my blog once this presentation is over, if you like my presentation. So let's get started. So the topic we have today is mobile SEO, and Craig has already shared his insights on mobile SEO, and it's a super important topic. And these statistics that you see here will illustrate how important it is. In fact, Craig had an updated statistic. The first stat that you see here, where it says 57% of all website traffic worldwide comes from mobile devices. Now, this is from 2021. As Craig showed, that number is even bigger now. It's 59%. So, 59% of all traffic comes from mobile devices, and this is worldwide. 51% of smartphone users have discovered a new company or a product when conducting a search on their smartphones. So that's another stat that you need to keep in mind. And on the right side, you'll see a particular statistic from Google itself, which says that people who have a negative experience on mobile are 62% less likely to make a future make a future purchase. I'm so sorry. And even more importantly, 40% of searchers have turned to a competitor's site after a bad mobile experience. So that's even worse. You wouldn't want to send traffic towards your competitors, right? You would want to have a mobile friendly website and retain your customers. So whenever you provide a bad mobile experience, you are losing out on a lot of conversions, you are losing out on a lot of fresh customers. So keep that in mind, keep these three statistics in mind. And the whole topic today is why you need to have a mobile friendly website. And if we go by just data, these 3 points should illustrate how important it is to have a mobile friendly website. Now, this is the mobile desktop traffic split from my own website. You can see 43% of the traffic to my site every month comes from mobile. So this is more or less the average. It's somewhere around 45% in a few months, somewhere around 42%, 43%. But we can say that at least 45% of all traffic to my site comes from mobile devices. Now, I run a marketing blog. If you have a news website or an entertainment site or an e-commerce site, then this number is going to be bigger. Almost 70%, in some cases 70% of your traffic may come from mobile devices. I have an e-commerce client where 85% of the traffic comes from mobile devices. Most of the purchases happen on mobile devices. So if you are in any of these industries, having a mobile website is even more critical. Now, I would like to talk about the Google algorithm which introduced mobile first indexing. So this was introduced back in 2019, and before this, Googlebot used to crawl the desktop version of your site and the mobile version of your site, and then deliver results. Now, what Google does is the mobile version of your site takes precedence over your desktop version, even if someone is searching from a desktop device. So it's just the mobile version of your site which is taken into consideration when Google is crawling and indexing your website. So that's why having a mobile friendly website becomes even more critical, because since 2019, Google has been following this particular algorithm to index their content. And if you don't have a mobile friendly website, then your rankings are going to derail, and you're going to have a very hard time, increasing your search traffic. So mobile first indexing is the algorithm update that really put things into perspective for SEOs, and mobile SEO became even more important. So the first thing we need to do is, even if you haven't really followed any mobile SEO tips, you need to check your website. You need to check if it's mobile friendly. And the first test you can do is use the free Google's mobile friendly test tool. So you can just type your URL here, and you'll know whether your website is mobile friendly or not. The other tool that I would recommend, once again, a free tool, is Google Search Console. This is a highly underrated tool, and we are going to talk more about this in the upcoming slides. But they have something called the Mobile Usability Report. This report will show you how many URLs on your site are valid or usable for mobile devices, and how many are not usable. And wherever you see unusable URLs, you can check the issues in the same report and go about fixing them, and make sure that your website is 100% mobile friendly. And the last tool I would recommend is a premium tool. There are a lot of tools on the market, as you would probably know, but SEMrush is the one tool that I would recommend, because it has the best site audit feature. And doing a site audit once or twice a month is really more of a hygiene factor for anyone who's running a website. So run a site audit twice a month, and SEMrush has the mobile bot which crawls your website for issues. And the site audit report specifically shows you the mobile SEO issue. So if you are trying to make your website more mobile friendly, then SEMrush can highlight those specific issues that people are facing on mobile devices when they visit your site, and you can go about fixing them. Now, I'll be sharing five simple, actionable mobile SEO tips. Mobile SEO is something that has been covered broadly by SEMrush and Brian Dean at Backlinko. They have in-depth guides, but for the purpose of this webinar, I'll just keep it simple. I'll talk about five simple tips, but at the same time, these are super important. And once you implement these tips, you can be rest assured that your website will be at least 95 to 99% mobile friendly. So let's talk about each of these tips, starting with improving your site's crawlability. Now, you need to make sure that all the important pages or URLs on your site are crawled and indexed by Google. To that end, you have the URL inspection tool in Google Search Console. You can enter any URL from your website here to see how Googlebot renders your content. And if that particular URL is not indexed, That means if that URL is not shown in this particular window or the report, then that means Google is yet to index it. So you can go about fixing any issue that is preventing that particular URL from getting indexed from Google. Usually happens with new posts or pages that you publish. It can take some time for Googlebot to crawl and index that page, but this is a nifty tool to have when you are trying to see if there are any important pages in your site being blocked. The other thing you can do is you can visit your robots txt file, and you can check the disallow directive to see if you're blocking any important URLs there. Unintentionally, you may be having a no index blog or a no index blog post or a specific page. So just check the disallow rule in your robots txt file and make sure that you're not disallowing any important URLs from your site. Now, the second one is, the a pretty basic SEO tip. It's about not using intrusive pop-ups, but it's easier said than done because all of us use email capture forms. We use pop-ups, widgets in order to grow our email list, right? But it shouldn't be done at the cost of user experience. And user experience is even more critical on mobile devices because if you have an intrusive pop-up showing up when someone is reading an article, then that person is going to leave the website right away, and that's going to increase your pogo sticking. And like Craig mentioned, the dwell time is going to be very low for your site, and your rankings will derail. I would suggest using a limited number of pop-ups and making sure that whatever pop-ups you're using are mobile friendly. You can use exit intent pop-ups. These are pop-ups that are activated right when someone is about to leave your website, and you can make use of these pop-ups. Almost all the popular email capture tools like opt-in monster, opt-inly, sumo, they all have this feature. So activate these kind of pop-ups or widgets, and your user experience will not be affected. Now, the next tip is to improve page speed on mobile. So for this, you can use the free tool Page Speed Insights to test your mobile speed on mobile devices. To test your mobile speed, basically. So it'll also show you your core web vital score. Now, after the page experience update, core web vitals are critical. So if you are failing that particular test, that means your site is not mobile friendly and the speed is not up to mark. Uh, One easy thing you can do to fix the page speed on your site is basically compressing your images and using the right dimensions. This is very critical. So before you upload any image to your site, make sure that you use a tool like TinyPNG to compress the file size. And you can also lazy load your images. So lazy loading means the images are shown only when the particular user scrolls to that particular section of the page or the post. So lazy load images. To that end, you can use a caching plugin like WP Rocket. In fact, using a caching plugin can make a huge difference in your page load time. And there are a lot of free plugins that you can use on WordPress, but WP Rocket is the best. You just have to pay $49 a year, and you can use caching on up to 3 websites. So WP Rocket is the caching plugin that I would recommend. And on the right, you can see a small stat that illustrates how important page speed is. Even a 1 second delay in mobile load times can impact mobile conversions by up to 20%. And we are just talking about 1% delay. So improving your page speed is super important. Use page speed insights on a regular basis, and make sure that you're not just testing your whole website but individual URLs as well. Sometimes in the case of individual URLs, you may have a lot of images, a lot of visuals, or videos that may take time to load. So when that's the case, you can use lazy loading, or you can reduce the size of your images to make sure that your core web vitals are intact. The next one is related, but it's slightly different. It's about providing a better mobile user experience. And when it comes to mobile devices, you should make sure that you're providing the best experience. Uh, some tips here. One is to improve the readability. So you have to use the right font size, at least 15 pixels. I've seen sites like HubSpot, Backlinko, Neil Patel using 18px font sizes. So that's the right font size to use. and you have to use short paragraphs. So you have to make sure that you're just using 2 or 3 line paragraphs and not using long paragraphs and making it difficult to read. You should also use sufficient white space between text and visual. So this way you'll be providing a visual break to the reader, and there are not too many elements crammed together that can affect the mobile user experience. And you need to provide sufficient contrast between text and background, because a lot of the mobile devices are used when someone is outside, and if the text is not readable under such conditions, then your mobile user experience is going to be affected. So make sure that you're using sufficient contrast between the text and background. And this is one of my favorite hacks, the next one, which is about fixing your mobile CTR with Google Search Console. Organic CTR, which is organic click through rate, is a critical ranking factor. So if you're not getting enough clicks from Google, then Google is going to demote your rankings. And this can differ between desktop CTR and mobile CTR. So sometimes you may be getting a higher click through rate on desktop, but you may not be getting the same amount of click through rate on mobile, and this can affect your mobile rankings. So again, you can use Google Search Console here. Like I said, it's a highly underrated tool. Just because it's free, many people undermine its importance, but it's a really useful tool, especially when you're trying to improve your mobile SEO. So what you can do is, there is the performance report that you see in Google Search Console. Here you can compare your desktop CTR and the mobile CTR for the last 3 months. And the first thing that you'll see here, as it's illustrated on the right, is the average CTR. So in my case, the CTR for mobile is more and the CTR for desktop is less. So I need to work towards improving some elements when it comes to my desktop SEO. But mobile SEO is pretty good in terms of click through rate. But even more importantly, if you scroll down in the same report, you'll see individual keywords that you're ranking for, and you'll see the difference between the mobile CTR and the desktop CTR. And wherever there is a huge difference, that means there is something wrong with the mobile optimization of your site. For example, if there is a query which is getting a lot of clicks on desktop, and the same query is not getting the same amount of clicks, or getting say 90% less clicks, that means there may be other factors involved. You can give a search for the same query on your smartphone, and you may see that your title is truncated, your meta description is truncated. Maybe that's why people are not clicking through. Or the same query may have a lot of ads shown in on mobile versus desktop. So those are the factors that may be causing a decline in your mobile CTR. Now when you check this report, you will see a clear difference between desktop and mobile CTR. Wherever you see that difference, you can go about improving your website improving your website's mobile SEO. So this is what you can do. You can go to Google Search Console. You can compare your desktop and mobile CTR, and make sure that there's not a huge difference when it comes to both of these elements. Now, the project that we are discussing today is Fusion Factor. This is a company that specializes in IT support in San Diego. And just to give you a brief overview, they just get 300 visitors a month. Their domain rating is also quite low, and they have very few referring domains. One of the main reasons, in my opinion, for this is because their mobile experience, also their mobile performance, is not up to the mark. When you check their core web vitals, it's just failing at all levels. When you check the performance score on mobile, it's just 32%. On desktop, it's quite decent. They're getting 88% performance. But when it comes to the mobile SEO parameters, this company is failing almost all the tests possible. So this is the reason why the website itself has not been able to generate a lot of traffic. Getting 300 visitors a month for a website that was created back in 2005 is pretty low. And saying that would be an understatement. At the same time, if you look at the website, it looks like it's not been updated for a long time. Maybe they are using a WordPress theme, which is outdated, which is not responsive, and it just doesn't look good on mobile devices. So there's a lot of things that they can do to improve their mobile SEO. A lot of tips that we've already discussed in this webinar, something that Craig and I both discussed. And if these steps are implemented with this website, then they can see a higher performance score, and they will also be able to generate more traffic to their website. That ends my presentation. To learn more about me, you can visit my site 99signals.com. You'll find more actionable SEO and content marketing tips there. You can also follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for listening to this particular webinar, and I hope you found it useful.
Thanks, Sandeep. That's great. And as a user, I would love to, there's before we get to the question, as a user, it's more of a rhetorical question, like, why do you guys like pop-ups? I absolutely hate pop-ups. They're very annoying. And this question is addressed to both of you and Craig. And I've encountered a bunch of websites which at first confused the heck out of me. I visit them and everything is just huge on a 40-inch display. It looks absolutely terrifying. I used to visit the website many times and it changed. Every element is huge. And then I realized that the company ditched the desktop version completely. They just don't have desktop versions anymore. And I've encountered like 3 or 4 companies who did that. Do you see it happening globally? Eventually, or you're not sure?
No, I don't see that trend, because when it comes to my own website, my own blog, as I showed the desktop mobile split, still a majority of traffic comes from desktop. At least 55% comes from desktop, right? And there are only few cases where I see a huge difference. Like I said, I have an e-commerce client who predominantly gets traffic from mobile devices, but at the same time their site looks beautiful on desktop as well. So the key lesson here is, for me at least, whenever I try to have a minimalistic mobile friendly design, that same website looks good on desktop as well, unless there are exceptions. I've not come across a site that is mobile friendly but at the same time looks terrible on desktop. So my experience here is limited. Also, I still prefer to shop on desktop. Maybe I'm a little old school. I like to whenever I visit Amazon, I still like to buy certain things on desktop as opposed to mobile. Mobile definitely has its uses. Also, when I'm reading a long form article, I prefer desktop over mobile. So those are just my preferences. But desktop SEO is definitely not dying. Just because mobile is increasing in popularity doesn't mean that you should ignore desktop entirely.
Greg, what do you think about ditching the desktop version and having a mobile-only version for both the desktop and the portable devices?
From a personal point of view, I would probably agree very much with Sandeep. Actually, my stats on my own personal website are 38% is mobile, 38% is on mobile. So I think in terms of me personally, it would be ludicrous. I would be potentially turning away 60% of people by doing that. So whilst there's still traffic there for me on a desktop, I have to continue running a desktop version of the website. Now, also what Sandeep says is, although we statistically can say 50-60% of people are using mobile devices, me as a human being, I am very much like Sandeep. If I want to buy something on Amazon, I do it on the desktop. Everything I do is on a desktop, maybe because I'm old school, but like my bank details are stored on my desktop. It's just easier, in terms of a user experience for me. I don't have like my bank details stored on my mobile device. So for me to go to Amazon is a pain in the ass. So I would just jump onto the desktop, order whatever I need to order, and the bank details are stored there, make a payment, job done. And again, maybe something to do with my age allows me to do that. But we have a wide range of people out there who've got different preferences and different ways of working. So whilst there is people like that, for me, at 60% nearly of my traffic being desktop, I have to keep that there. You listen, if it does become 100% mobile, then yeah, you've got an argument, but it's not there yet. Maybe in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, we might have that question and give it a serious answer. But for now, I think that you'd be thrown away. There's money on the table there. Where there's traffic, there's money to be made, and I don't fancy throwing 60% of my revenue in the bin. So desktop has to remain.
Thanks. That's great. Craig, thanks for answering. Now we'll get back to Sandeep and Q&A. So we had a question. No. Sorry. Should I boost my mobile first? So how should we prioritize the versions that we have, or should we even do that? Should we even prioritize in the first place?
Right, because of mobile first indexing, I think it's very important for you to optimize your mobile SEO first. But I would suggest doing that in parallel. And you have so many tools, and some of the tools that I shared here, they'll show you exactly how your website tests on mobile devices, not just mobile but desktop as well. So as long as you're meeting the basic criteria, as long as your page is loading within 5 seconds, and your navigation is friendly, and you have a lot of white space in your content, and your font size is legible, and the font type is legible, then there shouldn't be a problem in terms of scoring big on mobile. You just need to take care of the basics, right? And the basics were shared by Craig really well, and I also shared some of the hacks that you can follow. So both are equally important, like we just illustrated in the previous point, desktop and mobile. So you need to keep both of them in mind. Also depends, like I said, if one of my clients where 80% of the traffic is coming from mobile devices, then you need to prioritize mobile, of course. But that's an exceptional case where such a large percentage of traffic is coming from mobile device. I would suggest you need to optimize both. And if you're optimizing your site on mobile, in most cases you'll be optimizing it for desktop as well.
Thanks. And so, Greg, we got you back. So it's time to review a project of our attendee. So I'll leave you here together, and whoever is gonna share a screen, and I don't know how you're gonna do it. Probably something like play-by-play commentary. We review Fusion Factor. So let's begin, and tell us what it is, what's the project, and bring your opinion to the table. Let's
Cool.
do this.
Sandeep, I'm more than happy for you to go first if you want.
I already shared my thoughts on Fusion Factor. In fact, last couple of slides were about Fusion Factor. So I think Alex must have missed that. But like I was saying, if I can repeat the same point again, I ran the website through various tests and found that their mobile performance was pretty bad. It was scoring 32% on mobile, and it was failing all the core web vitals tests. And that is why the website itself is generating very less traffic. They're generating less than 300 visitors a month. Their backlinks are low. Also, the interface looks like it's not been updated for more than 10 years. They're not using great responsive design. And there are a lot of things that need to be done. But if they take care of the basics first when it comes to mobile SEO, then they can reap the rewards of it, because there's so many things that they can start with. And since the website itself looks very dated, I think someone with a fresh bent of mind when it comes to SEO can really improve the website by following the simple mobile SEO hacks.
Perfect. I will share my screen for what I've got.
Sure.
Obviously, I totally agree with what Sandeep says in terms of look and appearance, and obviously the mobile friendly side of things. It could be a lot better, but like Sandeep mentioned earlier, I ran a SEMrush audit. It's my preferred tool of choice when we're doing site audits. So I ran 1,000 pages through SEMrush to see what's going on from a technical side of view. Now, obviously, there are things that are wrong. Now, when you go to SEMrush, it gives you an overview and it gives you errors. These are probably what I would consider to be relatively important. Now, there are 648 structured data items that are invalid. So, if you're going to be taking the time to add structured data to your website, you need to make sure it's done properly because I'm not sure if you've used a tool or whatever, but again, that's not a good sign for Google to see. Now, on top of that, we have 201 internal links that are broken. Now, if we click on this, you will see that pages have been removed and redirects have just not been put in their place. So, again, 200 of those is quite high. And as Sandeep said, do this stuff monthly. It's good housekeeping to keep on top of, this type of thing. So internal links are broken. You've obviously removed some pages, and we can see what those pages are here as well. For one reason or another, you've moved them. The best practice would be to remove your page and then do a 301 redirect at that point so that Google and your users don't find these 404 pages. But equally, if your pages have got links pointing to them, you're wasting link equity. You want to redirect that to the next most relevant page on your website. So make sure that that's done. You've got a small little thing here, incorrect page and sitemap. That's something you need to fix. It's probably aligned to some of these other problems here. But when we go to warnings, obviously, you've got some speed issues, if you like, and like Sandeep said, potentially using something like WP Rocket will help you alleviate some of this without any real technical knowledge. And notice you are on WordPress. So again, go in there. WP Rocket will probably sort a lot of this stuff out for you. But what is quite noticeable here is that when you guys have done your redirects, it looks like you've done a lot of redirects using a 302 status code. Now, basically what you're serving to Google is that old initial URL might be coming back. A 301 would be the correct choice because you're saying we've moved from here to there. So you have to make sure that you're putting the right redirects in place to make sure that you're passing any kind of authority and stuff like that as well. So a 302 redirect is the wrong choice as far as I'm concerned. You do have broken images. You've got pages that don't have meta descriptions. These are not hugely, 55 pages that don't have meta descriptions. Yeah, meta descriptions are not going to impact your SEO in a huge way. Of course, they encourage click through and all that kind of stuff. So I would try and tick a lot of these boxes. But more importantly, you want to make sure that broken images are sorted, broken external links. That's links going out to other websites. Make sure that these are all working because, again, user experience wise, people land in your website. You pay good money to get people onto your website, and all of this shit's all broken. So it's something that I would be looking to sort out. and some notices here as well. Certain pages are blocked from crawling. That's something I would like to probably look at. Now, sometimes this can be done deliberately, but what you want to make sure is that none of those 735 pages that have been blocked from crawling are designed to rank well. Now, obviously, some of these are old blog posts and whatnot. Did these have traffic? Why are you blocking these? Is something I would be asking as an SEO. Are you killing off any potential traffic? Now, if these are all blog posts that you don't care about, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But you do want to do an audit. I think in general, there is a lot of cleanup to be done. So I don't feel that this website gets any great attention. Now, Sandeep, I know you'll agree with pretty much what I said on that
Yeah,
because it's all there from Sam Rush. But like, how
right.
important are these to you? All of these, because it's all about small little things.
Yeah, yeah.
Get those small gains, right?
Yeah, so I mentioned this in the last webinar as well. A lot of things in SEO are very simple, but people just overcomplicate it. And if the site had done a few hygiene checks here and there on a periodic basis, it would have been in a much better position. I just found that the site, the company was founded back in 2005. And it's ironic that they provide IT support services when their website looks like this. So, not trying to be pejorative in any way, but there's a lot of things that they need to do, and I think they should hire an SEO like Craig Campbell, and who can just do magic for this website, and you'll suddenly see the organic traffic skyrocket in no time.
Also, just to add, I had a quick look at the social media as well. Now, they've obviously
Oh, I
got
didn't see this.
some followers here on Twitter
Mm,
and stuff like that. What I would say with their social media as well, and I think social media is a big important part of your business.
mm, mm.
Something like this, Happy Halloween. Now I get it's Halloween and all that kind of stuff, but it's got no engagement, not one single
Yeah,
person out of the a
right.
thousand people that follow you have liked that. Now it's the same with based, this stuff here where you're trying to promote your services. You've not got one
Oh,
single like.
they
Now,
have SEO services. That's really ironic.
yeah. Now,
Yeah,
even if we go back to yesterday, they've got one retweet here, which is probably from a member of staff. So there's little to no engagement. And for me,
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel that you've got to offer value up front, like you do, Sandeep. You're doing your
Mm,
podcast, you're doing your blog posts, you're doing all of this fucking stuff to promote yourself as an expert. You're not selling as such. And I think when it comes to social media, we need to bear that in mind as well. You cannot just tweet saying we
yeah,
do
yeah.
IT services. It's no one's
Right,
going to
right.
engage with that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
there needs to be a lot of content marketing, at least some helpful resources that the audience will find engaging. And it's not just, you hit the nail on the head when you said, it's not just about promoting, selling all the time. And I would say 70 to 80% of businesses are guilty of that, where most of their content on Twitter and Facebook is very salesy, right? It's very overly promotional. And that's the only content that they care about rather than, engaging or investing in content marketing.
yeah, I think that's something I would recommend, even down to their YouTube, which I
Mm,
looked at
mm,
as well. YouTube's a
mm,
great platform for me personally. Um, and you can get literally tens of thousands of hits if you
mm, mm,
do it properly. Again, they've got 5 videos here, and there's no
mm,
more than 23 views from these videos over the last 3 years. So clearly, they're
right.
not engaging enough. They're not consistent
Mm,
enough. They're not offering that value up front. But Sandy, my
mm,
question to someone like yourself would be: you
mm.
use YouTube. I mean, you're driving decent traffic from that. How do you, what would you recommend to Fusion here in terms of what they could do with YouTube and what kind of traffic could they
No,
expect?
I YouTube is definitely not one of my strengths, though I have some videos there. I just have around 2,500 subscribers, I guess. But you are a much bigger presence on YouTube, so you would definitely know more about me. But YouTube has never been one of the biggest traction channels for me, so I just focus more on my blog and to some extent on my podcast. But with Fusion Factor, I mean, it's all about consistency. It looks like a company that gives up very easily. And as you can see, all the videos are from 3 years ago. So these videos would have been published, at the same time, probably in the same month 3 years ago, right? And if they had done that consistently, let's say if they had done that, since 2019 to now, they would have definitely seen some traction, right? Because they would have experimented with different videos and they would have finally stumbled upon the holy grail, basically something that works out for their clients. Because it's all about 20% of your videos driving most of the subscribers or views and traffic, right? So that's something they didn't do. They didn't experiment with a lot of videos. They just saw 6 videos which were uploaded at the same time. They didn't get any traction or engagement out of it and they just gave up. So if they had done this consistently over a long period of time, they would have probably found that one video or a couple of ideas which clicked with their audience, and then they could have grown their channel from there. So that's that. Those are just my 2 cents, and I'm pretty sure as a YouTuber yourself, you'll have better ideas to optimize YouTube.
Yeah, I think YouTube YouTube's easier to optimize for the
Mm.
Google, and there's so much traffic on there. It's crazy to
Mhm.
ignore it, if you ask me. But also with these guys, for things like IT support San Diego, in terms of their keywords,
Mm.
they're sitting position 7. They don't really rank. If we scroll down, they don't really rank for a lot of keywords in position 1. If we go to this on SEMrush. So
Mm.
in terms of their organic position distribution, they've got a handful of keywords in position 1 to 3. They've got a whole bunch of stuff sat in page 5 and below. I think in general, talking about not offering value up front, all of their content has commercial intent, so it's sell, 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 sell. Especially all of the kind of top positions. I think what they also need to understand is Google are wanting a whole bunch of informational intent, and they need to understand uh, what intent is. And if you're going to have a website that's all commercial content, you're not going to rank that well. Google does. If someone Googles for information about IT services or whatever it is you offer, you have to offer them information. It cannot just be salesy, salesy, salesy
Yeah.
constantly. Otherwise, you're not going to have a whole bunch of rankings. And finally, going on to their referring domains, I think that's something that could be worked on. They've got a whole bunch of different citations and low-level links, but they don't appear to be doing any kind of great link building. I think they've got a DR of around about 20, 24, I think you said in your slides. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
overall, there is room for improvement with pretty much everything that they do, whether that be on page, whether it be link building, whether it be content marketing, whether it be social media. I think there's massive room for improvement. Yes, they get traffic, and yes, they probably make a living, but we all want more, right? We all want to make more money, get to whatever amount of figure is your priority. So there is a lot of room for improvement there, both aesthetically, technically, content marketing, social media. I just think, yeah,
Yeah.
there's room for growth is the positive thing that I want to add.
Correct. Yeah.
Thanks, Sandeep. Craig, it was great. Thank you for your quite extensive review. We have to wrap this up. We'll hopefully all of us and our viewers will meet again on November 10th, next Thursday. And Craig, we'll see you there.
Cool.
So thank you. And Sandeep, we hope to see you again. And we'll
Yeah.
probably
Sure. Sure. Sorry, I didn't get that.
So, bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
And to our viewers, there's one more thing left. We'll have a task for you. It's going to be it revolves around our topic as usual. You will need to prove that you prove your expertise and mobile adaptation. You'll receive your tasks by email. It will bring you 3,000 points. And you will also get an extra task that will give you $10, a promo code for a $10 discount for link building, for your link building efforts on Serpzilla. So I think that's it. Join us again next Thursday, November 10th, and don't forget to check your mailbox. Bye.